Alright, today is today is June 21st, 2025, and we're out here in the woods exploring nature with Braylee. You can already see a lot more biodiversity than what we're used to because you can see these ferns, which we don't have where I'm from. And another thing that is very sensitive to its environment, a little cricket frog. So let's see if, oh, I was gonna pick it up, oh no, I see it, hang on. One more try. Okay. 3 strikes you're out. I was gonna pick it up to see if it was a male or female, but I'm sure there will be more where that came from.
There was not more where that came from, but luckily I got a video of it before it went away. So if you look here, it says an elusive cricket frog, and you can see a little bit at the angle, you can see under the chin is white. So this is a female. A male would have like a greenish chin, which is the same concept with the American toad, where they need to have a thinner layer of skin so that they could do their mating calls. But this is an elusive female cricket frog, which this is my first time finding an adult female cricket frog, because normally when I see these guys, the reason how I can tell where they're there is because I can hear them calling and I can tell where they are based on that. So it's almost always a male that I find. But if you're just looking and not hearing them, you can imagine that they're difficult to find. You can see how small it is and how well camouflaged it is. So this is a nice find for me, a female cricket frog.
Alright, well, we're here. I was previously talking about how there's more biodiversity here, but here we go. Listen. Here's something that we're more familiar with because it lives where I'm from, closer to where I am, and where you see most of my videos from is the American toad, which are much more hardy than other types of frogs, like the cricket frog. This is why you'll see them all over the place. But cricket frogs and stuff like that will be only in places that aren't as polluted. You can see that this one's a male. You can look at his chin, it's a little bit more darkly colored than the rest of his skin. It's because there's a thinner piece of skin, so he can make noises. And he's making a little bit, there we go. I don't know if the camera picked up on that, but he's making some little noises. That's also how you know it's a male, because only the males will make noises. So here's American toady. I'll let him go. There we go. He can enjoy the rest of his day now.
Over here we have this hickory tree with these small bumps on it. These are galls. We've previously seen galls formed by wasps, usually on oak trees, and then we've also seen a type of fly forming a gall before. The Rudbeckia gall midge I made a video out before. This is a hickory gall midge, so it's a type of small fly that makes galls on the leaves of hickory plants. And so these black ones are older ones. You can see that the insect already emerged out through that hole. And here's a fresher one that I opened up. If you look closely, you can see a little larva living in there. It's not very good videography, so I apologize for that. But yeah, these are hickory gall midges. It's a type of small fly that goes through its larval and pupal stage on galls on hickory leaves. Over here is probably an unexpected sight. This is a silvery checkerspot butterfly that's eating poop. And we typically think of butterflies as these beautiful, graceful creatures that are very nice and that eat nectar out of flowers, but they're just like the rest of us. They're gross too. And when you study other species, you'll find that us humans are actually the weird ones for not eating poop. You can see all kinds of things eating this poop. There's flies and ants and stuff if you look around. It makes good fertilizer for plants and plenty of bacteria. If you have a dog, you know that dogs like to eat poop. There's Braylee right there. So all kinds of things eat poop because it actually has a lot of nutrients in it. The stuff that someone else couldn't digest or couldn't use in their body gets excreted, and maybe a different species is going to be able to use it for something. And in particular, butterflies do this thing that is called, scientists call it mud puddling, where they basically go on to poop or puddles or dead things and try and get nutrients from it. And one thing they've noticed is that it's almost always males that are doing this. This is a male silvery checkerspot. You can tell by, first of all, you might be able to tell by its behavior if it was a species of butterfly that you can't tell by looking at it. But if you look at the antennas, there's two black like spots on the end of it, like black beads on the end of his antennas. Those only the males have those. And so this is a male butterfly that is eating the poop. And scientists have looked into it, and they haven't really come up with a conclusive answer. They think that maybe there's some extra sodium or nitrogen in there that's going to help them produce sperm for feeding, but they don't really know the exact answer why they might do this, because their main source of food is nectar from flowers. So yeah, this is a butterfly, a reminder that butterflies are just like us. They are not just graceful things that like flowers, they're also gross. So it's just male silvery checker spot displaying its mud puddling. Over here we have some lovely couples, some pairs of powdered dancer damselflies. And it may look like I'm intruding on a special moment for them, seeing something that I shouldn't be seeing, which is true. This is a very special moment for them, but not the one that you might think. These guys are going through the process of oviposition, so they're not mating. These guys, they have already done their mating. The way you can tell the difference is because of the connection that's between the male and the female. You can see that the male is, once I get closer, I get a better view. You can see that the male has the tip of his abdomen connected right below the female's head. If they were mating, the male would have the tip of his abdomen connected right below the female's head, but also the female would bring the tip of her abdomen over to the below the belly of the male. So when they mate, it kind of makes a heart shape. So that's how you can tell if they're mating or not. I think that's a cool thing about them. But this is a process of oviposition. So they've already mated. The male is still attached behind the female's head. And the female, you can see that she's pressing the tip of her abdomen into the wood that's underwater. What she's doing is she's inserting her ovipositor into the wood, and there's Braylee, and she's laying her eggs. And the male is just staying there to keep watch and guard her, because this is a very special moment for the both of them. And the female is vulnerable at this time, so he's just going to keep watch and warn her if there's any danger. So they're just preparing for the next generation, and the female is all the way underwater for some of them. They're fine underwater. They're going to be aquatic for their childhood. So these eggs are going to hatch under the water and form nymphs. And the nymphs are going to live underwater until they become adults. If you've ever seen the skins of the dragonflies and damselflies, they emerge out of the water once they're ready to do their final molt, and they live on land the rest of their life. That's when they get their wings. But until then, they're going to live under the water. They're mostly aquatic insects, so you'll find damselflies and dragonflies hanging out near bodies of water, even as adults, because that's where they mate and lay their eggs. So these are just some powdered dancer damselflies that are getting ready for the next generation. And you can tell this is your males and females. The males are the blue ones, and the females are the brownish green ones.
Hi, hi.
bushes.